Humans strike back after our diplomat was killed. Shocking the stars, the diplomatic station drifted in slow orbit around a bright blue star, far from any single empire. The station was called Helix Station by most species, though every culture had its own name for it. Long silver rings rotated around a central core, creating artificial gravity. Wide transparent panels showed the glowing light of the star, washing the corridors in soft blue color. For many cycles, Helix Station had been a place of careful peace. Old enemies met there under strict rules. Weapons were limited. Security drones floated quietly near every chamber. Translators hummed in the air so every voice could be understood. On this day, a new delegation arrived. The human shuttle moved slowly toward the docking ring, its hull smooth and simple compared to many alien designs. It did not glow or change shape. It did not use bright colors to show power. It looked calm and practical. Inside the shuttle sat Ambassador Ethan Clark. Ethan was not old, but his face showed years of work and responsibility. He wore a dark formal uniform with a small silver emblem of Earth on the chest. His eyes were steady, and his posture remained straight even during the final docking vibrations. Across from him sat Olivia Grant, his assistant. She reviewed a floating tablet filled with translated notes and treaty drafts. Her focus was sharp, but she glanced up often, watching Ethan with quiet concern. Next to the hatch stood Daniel Brooks, the assigned security officer. Daniel was tall and calm, wearing a light defensive suit that looked simple but contained advanced protection layers. His role was clear: observe everything. The shuttle connected with a soft metallic sound. "Docking complete," the ship computer said. Olivia exhaled slowly. "This is bigger than the last council meeting." Ethan gave a small smile. "They are all big meetings now." Daniel checked the hatch display. "Station security is active. Scans are normal." Ethan stood. "Then let's begin." The hatch opened, revealing a wide corridor shaped in a gentle curve. The walls glowed with soft lines of light. Different species moved through the hall. Some walked on 2 legs, others on 4, and a few floated using anti-gravity devices. Several turned to look at the humans. Humanity was still new to the Alliance. Only 12 years had passed since first contact. In that short time, humans had moved quickly into trade, research, and diplomacy. Many species admired their adaptability. Others distrusted their rapid progress. As the human team walked forward, a hovering guide drone projected symbols in the air, directing them toward the Grand Council chamber. Olivia walked beside Ethan. "The Varun delegation already arrived." Ethan nodded. "I expected that." Daniel remained half a step behind them, scanning every movement. His eyes moved constantly. He noticed patterns, positions, distances. Security was never simple on Helix Station. They entered a transport ring that carried them silently across the station's inner structure. Through the transparent wall, the massive council chamber became visible. It was a circular hall large enough to hold hundreds of delegates. Tiered platforms surrounded a central speaking floor. Floating translation nodes hovered above each section. The transport slowed. Olivia adjusted her tablet. "Final reminder, the Varun want control of the outer trade corridor near the Delta systems." Ethan answered calmly. "Yes, and granting that control would cut supply routes for 3 minor civilizations." "Yes," Olivia looked at him. "They will not like hearing no?" Ethan's voice stayed steady. "Then we will say no politely." The transport door opened. The 3 humans stepped into the council chamber. Voices filled the air in dozens of tones and rhythms. Some species spoke through sound. Others used light pulses translated into audio. The chamber felt alive with tension. At the far side stood the Varun delegation. The Varun were tall and lean, with dark layered skin that reflected faint metallic colors. Their eyes were narrow and bright. They wore sharp ceremonial armor even during diplomacy. Their leader, Commander Threx, watched the humans enter. His expression did not change. Ethan walked toward the central platform when the council signal tone sounded. The meeting began. One by one, representatives spoke. Trade routes, energy exchange, border disputes, resource balancing, the usual complex topics of a large alliance. Ethan listened carefully. Olivia recorded notes. Daniel watched everything. After nearly an hour, the chamber lights shifted slightly, signaling the next topic. Territorial control of the Delta Corridor. A tall Varun delegate stepped forward. "The Varun Authority requests permanent security control of the Delta Corridor." the translator voice echoed. A display formed above the chamber, showing star maps and route lines. The Varun delegate continued. Recent instability requires stronger enforcement. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Everyone understood what this meant. Control of the corridor meant control of trade, and control of trade meant power. The council moderator turned toward the human platform. Ambassador Ethan Clark, Earth has requested speaking priority. Ethan stepped forward. The chamber grew quieter. Humans were still new, but they had already earned attention. Ethan looked around the circular hall before speaking. Earth recognizes the importance of safe trade routes, he began calmly. However, granting full control to a single military power would create imbalance. The translator repeated his words across dozens of languages. Ethan continued. 3 developing civilizations depend on open access to this corridor. Restricting that access would harm their growth. The display shifted, showing the smaller systems. Olivia watched several delegates lean forward with interest. Ethan's voice remained steady. Earth proposes a shared security structure under Alliance oversight. Silence followed. Then the Varun leader, Commander Threx, stepped forward. His voice carried a sharp tone even through the translator. Human Ambassador, your species has been part of this alliance for only 12 cycles. The chamber remained silent. Threx continued. Your understanding of long-term stability is limited. Olivia felt tension rise beside her. Ethan did not react. Threx gestured toward the star map. The Varun have protected these regions for centuries. Your proposal introduces weakness. Ethan spoke calmly. Shared responsibility does not create weakness. Threx's eyes narrowed. It creates delay. A low ripple of reactions moved through the chamber. Ethan paused for a moment before answering. Delay is sometimes necessary to prevent injustice. The words hung in the air. Several delegates exchanged signals of agreement. The Varun delegation remained still. The silence lasted longer than expected. Then Threx stepped back. The Varun reject the human proposal. The moderator turned toward the chamber. Discussion will continue, but the atmosphere had already changed. Tension settled heavily across the platforms. Olivia leaned slightly toward Ethan. That was direct. Ethan gave a small nod. Clear is better than unclear. The session moved forward, but the tone remained sharp. Several delegates spoke in support of shared control. Others avoided choosing sides. After another 20 minutes, the moderator announced a short recess. Lights softened. Delegates began moving between platforms. Conversations formed quickly. Daniel stepped closer to Ethan. Sir, security traffic increased. Ethan glanced at him. Any direct threat? Not yet. Olivia checked her tablet. I am receiving multiple meeting requests from minor delegations. Ethan smiled slightly. That is good. As they spoke, movement occurred near the Varun section. One of the Varun delegates stepped away from the group. Daniel noticed immediately. The figure moved toward the outer ring corridor instead of the common meeting area. Daniel's eyes followed the movement. Something felt wrong. He adjusted his wrist display, scanning station security feeds. The signal flickered for half a second, then returned. Daniel frowned. Sir, he said quietly, I recommend we relocate to the private chamber. Ethan turned slightly. We still have. The sound came without warning, a sharp pulse, not loud but precise. Olivia felt the air shift. Ethan stopped speaking. For a brief moment, everything felt still. Then Ethan collapsed. The chamber erupted into confusion. Olivia dropped to her knees beside him. Ethan! A small dark mark showed near his upper chest. No visible weapon, no visible attacker. Daniel reacted instantly. He activated his defensive field and scanned the platforms. Security drones rushed into motion. Alarms began to sound. Ethan struggled to breathe. Olivia held his shoulder. Stay with me, stay with me. Ethan's eyes moved slightly toward her. He tried to speak. No sound came. Daniel tracked motion near the outer ring. A figure moved quickly into the corridor. Varun. Daniel marked the direction and transmitted the alert. Possible hostile moving Sector 7. Station security responded immediately, sealing sections of the corridor. But the attacker was already gone. Medical drones arrived within seconds, projecting scanning beams across Ethan's body. One drone spoke in a calm tone. Unknown energy disruption detected. Olivia felt her hands shaking. Help him! The drone continued scanning, but its light dimmed. Cellular collapse spreading. Daniel's jaw tightened. He understood what that meant. The weapon had been designed to leave almost no trace. Ethan's breathing slowed. His eyes moved again, trying to focus. Olivia leaned closer. "Ethan, please." For a moment, he saw her clearly. His voice came softly. "Keep them safe." The words barely formed, then his eyes became still. The medical drone stopped scanning. The chamber fell into a strange silence despite the alarms. Olivia did not move. She held his arm, unable to accept what had happened. Around them, dozens of alien delegates watched. Shock spread across the council platforms. Daniel slowly lowered his head. Ambassador Ethan Clark was gone. Security forces locked down the chamber. Drones scanned every delegate. Energy signatures were analyzed. Movement records were reviewed, but the assassin had planned carefully. No weapon remained. No clear trace existed. Only one fact became certain. The attacker had come from the Varun section. Commander Threx stood motionless as investigators approached. His expression remained cold. "The Varun deny involvement," he said calmly. The translator repeated his words. Olivia slowly stood. Her eyes were red, but her voice remained steady. He was standing in the middle of a diplomatic session. No one answered. The chamber felt heavier than before. Fear moved quietly between the platforms. If a diplomat could be killed here, nowhere was safe. Daniel stepped beside Olivia. "We need to leave." She did not argue. Earth protocol required immediate return after the loss of a primary diplomat. Station Command arranged emergency transport. As the human team prepared to depart, several smaller delegations approached quietly. Some expressed sympathy, others expressed concern. A few simply bowed their heads. News spread quickly across the station networks. Human diplomat assassinated during council session. Unknown weapon. Suspected Varun involvement. The story traveled faster than light through relay channels, far beyond the station. Far toward Earth, inside the departing shuttle, silence filled the cabin. Ethan's seat remained empty. Olivia sat across from it, still holding her tablet. She replayed the final recording from the session. Ethan's voice echoed softly. Calm, steady, hopeful. Daniel remained near the cockpit, reviewing security data again and again. Every frame, every movement. He searched for something missed, something useful. But the truth remained simple. This had not been random, this had been a test. And somewhere in the darkness between the stars, someone was waiting to see how humanity would respond. The shuttle engines activated. Helix Station slowly drifted away behind them. The blue star continued shining. But for the first time since humanity joined the Alliance, the future no longer felt peaceful. The shuttle moved through space at a steady pace, carrying Olivia Grant and Daniel Brooks back to Earth. The stars outside the windows seemed calm, yet inside the cabin the tension was heavy. Olivia sat silently, reviewing the final messages from Ethan Clark. She could hear the echo of his voice in her mind, calm and firm, as if he were still sitting across from her. Every word reminded her of the responsibility now resting on their shoulders. Daniel watched the star patterns, his eyes scanning for anything unusual. Even though they were far from Helix Station, his military instincts kept him alert. He adjusted the sensors and checked the communication lines constantly. Something about the assassination felt bigger than the station. It felt like a message, a challenge. When the shuttle finally entered Earth's orbit, it was met by a fleet of transport escorts and security ships. The city below glowed with thousands of lights, sprawling across continents. Earth had changed a lot in the last decade. The nations had unified under a global alliance, especially after first contact. New spaceports, fleet commands, and research stations dotted the landscape, all designed to manage humanity's growing presence in the stars. The shuttle docked at Orbital Command Station Nova. The station was enormous, with long docking arms and rotating sections to simulate gravity. As the hatch opened, Olivia and Daniel were met by military personnel and government officials. The air was thick with urgency and concern. President Laura Bennett was waiting in the main briefing room. She was not a young leader, but her calm voice and steady gaze commanded attention. Beside her stood Fleet Admiral Kevin Scott, a man known for his strategic mind and experience in interstellar operations. Both had heard the news about Ethan Clark before the shuttle arrived, but seeing Olivia and Daniel in person made the reality harder to ignore. Olivia bowed slightly, her hands gripping her tablet tightly. "Madam President," she said softly, "Ambassador Ethan Clark is dead." The president nodded, her face solemn but composed. "We know, Olivia, tell us everything." Olivia took a deep breath. She played Ethan's final recording. His voice filled the room, calm and clear, explaining his ideas, the council discussions, and his hope for shared responsibility. Every word highlighted his vision of unity and peace among the stars. As the recording ended, silence fell over the room. Admiral Kevin Scott finally spoke. This was no accident. The weapon, the timing, the precision, it was deliberate. Someone wanted to see how we would respond. President Bennett's eyes narrowed. And they will soon find out. Humanity does not bend under intimidation. Olivia nodded. Ethan wanted to remind us of that. The intelligence division had already sent reports from Helix Station, confirming Varun involvement. Not only that, but communications and trade channels suggested that the attack was designed to test humanity's restraint. Other species were watching, seeing if humans would react rashly. If humanity responded too quickly, it could spark war across multiple star systems. The president remained silent for a moment. We will not react without plan. We will not start war with the Varun. But we will show strength, Admiral Scott agreed. Our fleets are ready. Our forces can deploy at a moment's notice, but discretion is necessary. We strike only when necessary, with precision. Olivia looked around the room. She felt the weight of responsibility. Ethan's death had put humanity in the center of the galactic stage, and now every decision mattered. What about the small systems that depend on the Delta Corridor? She asked. They will be at risk if the Varun sense weakness. Then we must protect them quietly, the president said. Our action cannot just be for revenge, it must be for defense. Over the next several hours, humanity mobilized quietly. Ships were moved to strategic positions, cyber units prepared to infiltrate Varun communications, and intelligence agents spread discreetly through the trade routes. The world watched, unaware of the preparation taking place in orbit and across distant colonies. Captain Ryan Cole, a rising star in the fleet, oversaw the deployment of new experimental ships. These ships were faster, stealthier, and more powerful than anything the Varun had encountered. Each ship had crews trained not just in combat but in strategy, diplomacy, and restraint. Captain Cole was calm, his voice steady as he addressed the fleet. We protect, we observe, we act only when necessary, remember that. Commander Megan Hill, second in command, oversaw communication with intelligence units infiltrating Varun networks. She watched screens filled with star maps, encrypted messages, and signals from multiple sources. They're moving resources, she said quietly. But they don't know we are watching. Olivia worked alongside them, ensuring that Ethan's plans were preserved. She analyzed the trade data, star routes, and minor system dependencies. Every movement by the Varun was recorded and studied. She knew that humanity had the chance to act with wisdom, unlike many species that reacted with immediate aggression. The next few days were tense. News of Ethan's death reached all corners of the Alliance. Rumors spread about humanity's reaction. Other species expected humans to strike quickly, to send fleets and declare war. But humanity remained silent publicly. The restraint shocked observers. Some began sending envoys to Earth, seeking clarification. Others simply watched, unsure of how to interpret this unexpected calm. Olivia worked tirelessly, coordinating with both intelligence and fleet command. She prepared reports for the president, each filled with precise information about Varun activity. Small attacks on trade routes had been attempted, but human cyber units intercepted each one, rerouting ships and disabling communications without alerting the Varun. Each success was quiet, invisible to the broader alliance. One evening, Admiral Scott reviewed the latest reports with the president. The Varun are testing us. They expect emotional retaliation, but we act strategically. That is new to them. President Bennett nodded. And they will learn quickly. Humanity will not be intimidated. We will protect our diplomats, our allies, and our citizens, but we do not act without purpose. Olivia entered the room with the latest updates from Captain Cole and Commander Hill. Our fleets are in position. The experimental ships are ready. Varun communications are disrupted. Trade routes are secure for now. We can respond instantly if they make a move. Admiral Scott leaned back. Good, keep it that way. Patience is our weapon. The Varun think humans are reckless. We will prove otherwise. Olivia felt a spark of hope. She remembered Ethan's final words, keep them safe. That was her mission now, and she would carry it through. Humanity had the tools, the intelligence, and the discipline to respond in a way that none of the other species expected. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, smaller civilizations observed. The Delta Corridor was vital for trade, and these systems depended on human support. Seeing humans prepare without immediate aggression reassured some, while others wondered if humans were hiding greater power. The tension between restraint and capability began to shift perceptions. Humans were no longer just newcomers. They were a force to be calculated carefully. As the days passed, Olivia and Daniel worked closely with Fleet Command. They reviewed every possible scenario, predicting Varun reactions. Cyber units intercepted messages suggesting that the Varun were planning another small-scale strike to test humanity again. Captain Cole prepared his ships quietly, moving them along hidden routes near the predicted zones. Commander Hill ensured that communications were jammed selectively, giving the appearance of vulnerability while actually strengthening human control. Olivia often paused to remember Ethan. She replayed his calm voice, imagining his presence beside her. It helped her make decisions. His vision of diplomacy mixed with strength guided every move. She began to understand what he had always believed. True power was not just in weapons, but in timing, intelligence, and restraint. One morning, the president summoned a strategic council. Representatives from Fleet Command, Intelligence, and Human Diplomatic Corps attended. Olivia presented her analysis. "The Varun expect retaliation," she said, pointing to intercepted messages and observed fleet movements. "They believe humans will respond emotionally. We have a chance to change that expectation." Admiral Scott leaned forward. "And we will. Our ships remain hidden. Our intelligence network is intact. The Varun think they control the situation. They are wrong." President Bennett nodded. "This is our moment to show the galaxy who we are. We protect, we plan, and we act when necessary. Let this be clear, we do not start fights, but we finish them decisively when forced." Olivia felt a sense of purpose settle in. The plan was clear: monitor, control, and prepare. Humanity would strike, but only at the right moment. The galaxy would learn that humans were not impulsive newcomers, but disciplined, clever, and capable of surprising strength. Meanwhile, Captain Cole and Commander Hill ran exercises with their crews, simulating every possible Varun attack. The new experimental ships performed flawlessly, their speed and maneuverability far beyond what the Varun expected. Crews trained day and night, mastering coordination, strategy, and restraint. Every scenario reinforced one message: strike with precision, not chaos. Back on Earth, intelligence units continued to track Varun activity. Small skirmishes were quietly blocked or rerouted. Diplomats sent signals of peace to other species, emphasizing human restraint and reliability. Humanity's approach confused the galaxy. Other species whispered, asking, "Will humans strike, or will they wait?" Even seasoned diplomats could not predict the next move. Olivia continued her work, connecting the dots. She realized the plan was bigger than revenge. It was a test of humanity's image, its discipline, and its ethics. Ethan's death had created a moment to redefine humanity's place in the stars. If they responded correctly, humans would gain respect. If not, the consequences could be catastrophic. Weeks passed. Humanity remained calm in public but alert in secret. The Varun began to sense that their expectations were incorrect. Small tests and provocations failed to provoke a rash response. Human forces acted only where necessary, and every move reinforced their discipline. Reports of stealthy interventions in trade routes, supply protection, and cyber control spread quietly, adding to humanity's growing reputation. Olivia watched one night as the sun rose over the planet's horizon. The soft light filled her room, casting long shadows. She thought of Ethan, of his calm voice and his faith in human potential. She felt a renewed determination. Humanity had learned a painful lesson in loss, but it had also gained the opportunity to demonstrate wisdom, strength, and restraint. As the Delta Corridor remained under careful watch, humans prepared for the next phase. The Varun had tested them, other species had observed them, and now humanity would decide when to act. Patience and planning had become their weapons, and the galaxy would soon see that humans were neither weak nor predictable. The message sent by Ethan's death was clear. Humanity would not bow, nor would it strike blindly. It would move with intelligence, precision, and courage. The Alliance had watched quietly, and the stars themselves seemed to pause. waiting for the next chapter in humanity's rise among the galaxies. The galaxy watched quietly as humanity prepared for its next move. While other species expected immediate retaliation for Ethan Clarke's death, humans acted with patience and precision. They had not forgotten the message behind the assassination. Someone wanted to see if humans would react rashly. Instead, humans used the time to study, plan, and quietly control the situation. Olivia Grant worked closely with intelligence teams. Every intercepted message, every movement of Varun ships, every minor change in trade routes was recorded and analyzed. She noted patterns the Varun themselves did not realize they were showing. They were becoming predictable. "They are overconfident," Olivia said to Commander Megan Hill, pointing to a star map with colored lines showing fleet movements. "They believe we are waiting to act emotionally. That is their mistake," Megan nodded. "Then we use it, we prepare. They will learn too late that humans do not fight like others. We fight smart." Captain Ryan Cole supervised the positioning of the new experimental fleet. The ships moved silently through hidden corridors of space, avoiding detection. The speed, stealth, and coordination of these vessels would surprise any enemy. Crew members trained tirelessly, practicing maneuvers and strategies for attacks that would not only protect humanity, but also send a clear message to the galaxy. "Remember," Captain Cole said to his crews during a briefing, "our goal is not destruction, but precision. We strike only where needed. We protect our allies. We show the galaxy that humans are not reckless, but we are unstoppable when forced to act." On the ground, in Earth's command centers, the President and Admiral Scott oversaw every move. They coordinated fleets, intelligence, and diplomacy in a balance as delicate as a star in orbit. The Delta Corridor remained stable under careful observation. Minor attacks from Varun forces were intercepted by cyber units before they could reach civilian or trade ships. Every action remained quiet, almost invisible to the galaxy, building an image of calm control. Olivia spent hours reviewing every message from Helix Station and minor systems. She noted that the Varun were becoming restless. They tried subtle attacks, but each attempt was quietly neutralized. The small civilizations dependent on the corridor began to rely on human protection. Slowly, humans were becoming more than diplomats. They were becoming guardians. One evening, Olivia and Megan reviewed the latest intelligence. "They're moving supplies," Megan said, pointing at the display, "but they don't know we are watching." "They will think they are safe," Olivia replied, "until it is too late." Across the galaxy, Varun leaders began to worry. Their plans to provoke humans into rash action were failing. Every time they tried to test humanity, their ships encountered silent human fleets, their communications were disrupted, and their trade influence slipped away. Humanity's restraint was now a threat the Varun could not ignore. Small alien systems that once feared the Varun began quietly sending envoys to humanity. They sought protection, guidance, and reassurance. Humanity's reputation was growing, not because of war, but because of control and intelligence. Captain Cole and Commander Hill led exercises with the experimental fleet. Simulated attacks on Varun ships and stations tested every crew member. Human crews learned coordination, speed, and strategy that no other species had ever experienced. Every scenario was practiced until reactions became automatic, until precision was instinct. "We strike only where needed," Cole reminded his crews. "We protect our people, our allies, and our honor. The galaxy will learn who humans are." Olivia reviewed the latest reports from intelligence units. Minor Varun operations had been quietly neutralized, and evidence was being gathered. One by one, the Varun were losing control of trade routes, their influence weakened. Humanity had accomplished this without firing a major shot, without starting open war. On Earth, the President called a strategic council. Olivia presented her findings. "The Varun are losing control quietly," she said. "We have intercepted communications showing confusion. Our restraint is causing them to make mistakes. We can act now at the right moment to strike decisively." Admiral Scott added, "They believe humans will act emotionally. We will act logically. We have the fleet, the strategy, and the intelligence. We decide the moment and place of our strike." The Council agreed. Humanity's approach was clear. First, dismantle the Varun influence networks quietly. Second, protect the small systems dependent on the Delta Corridor. Third, wait for the perfect moment to deliver a strategic, decisive strike. Weeks passed. The galaxy continued to watch, expecting humans to act. The Varun tried one last minor attack on a frontier colony near the Delta Corridor. They believed the humans would react openly and aggressively, but they did not. Captain Cole's fleet had already been positioned in hidden locations. The experimental ships moved with incredible speed, surrounding the attacking Varun forces without being detected. Human crews executed precise maneuvers that disabled enemy engines and weapons systems with minimal casualties. Olivia observed the operation from a secure command center. Every move was tracked. The Varun attackers had no chance. They were trapped before they realized the humans were near. Megan Hill's voice came over the communication line. "They won't escape. Every path is blocked. They don't know we're here." As the last Varun ship was disabled, human intelligence units broadcast proof of the attack and its origin. The galaxy saw that the Varun had initiated violence. Humanity had responded only to protect others, not to start war. The result shocked the Alliance. Humans had struck, but not recklessly. They had acted with intelligence, speed, and minimal force, proving that restraint and capability could exist together. Diplomats from other species began sending messages to Earth. Some expressed relief. Others expressed respect. Humanity was no longer a weak newcomer. They were capable of protecting their people and allies while maintaining control over the situation. Olivia felt a quiet satisfaction. Ethan Clarke's vision was coming to life. Humans could be strong and fair. They could act with courage and precision. His death had sparked fear, but it had also created an opportunity. Humanity had risen to meet it. On the battlefield, the human fleets returned to hidden positions. No one celebrated loudly, but crews felt a deep sense of accomplishment. They had shown that humanity could act decisively when necessary, yet still follow principles. Captain Cole addressed his crews. "This is how humans fight. Not with chaos, not with anger, but with control and precision. Never forget this lesson." Back on Earth, President Bennett addressed a small council meeting. "Our restraint has been our strength. Our intelligence has protected the galaxy and preserved peace. Humanity has earned respect, not through fear, but through action when required." Olivia worked late into the night, analyzing remaining Varun movements. She noted that their morale was weakening, their systems disrupted, and their influence slipping. Humanity's careful planning had forced the enemy into mistakes without a major war. The smaller civilizations dependent on the Delta Corridor began sending envoys to request formal protection. Humanity's role had shifted. Humans were no longer just participants in the alliance. They were guardians capable of enforcing safety and order quietly, efficiently, and decisively. Megan Hill spoke with Olivia one evening. "They thought we would act emotionally. They thought humans would be easy to manipulate. They were wrong." Olivia nodded. "And they still don't understand the full scale of what we can do." The Galactic Alliance began to notice. Species that had doubted humanity's discipline were reassessing. Whispers spread. Humans are precise. Humans are patient. Humans are capable of decisive action without chaos. Humanity had set a new standard, not through war, but through intelligence, preparation, and restraint. The Varun learned the first hard lesson. Provoking humans came at a cost. Olivia reflected on Ethan Clarke's final words. "Keep them safe." Humanity had kept them safe, and more. They had also proven that humans were not to be underestimated. Weeks passed quietly with humanity watching, protecting, and preparing. Fleets remained hidden but ready. Cyber units continued to monitor Varun communications. Diplomats continued to maintain calm in public, showing no sign of the true power now quietly in motion. Captain Cole trained his crews relentlessly. Every maneuver, every strategy, every possible scenario was rehearsed until instinct. Human ships could now respond instantly to attacks, protect allies, and deliver decisive blows when required. Olivia and Megan coordinated every movement. Intelligence reports flowed constantly. Nothing escaped human notice. The galaxy began to whisper about humans differently. They were no longer just newcomers. They were guardians, disciplined, and capable of shocking power. One night, Olivia looked at the stars from Earth orbit. She felt Ethan's presence in her mind, calm and guiding. Humanity had learned the lesson of restraint, precision, and intelligence. They were ready for the final act. When the moment came, they would strike, and the galaxy would never forget it. Humanity had fought without anger. They had acted without chaos. They had won the respect of the galaxy quietly, efficiently, and decisively. And soon the Varun would understand the full meaning of that lesson. The galaxy watched. The stage was set. Humanity was no longer new, no longer weak, and no longer underestimated. The stars themselves seemed to hold their breath, waiting for the moment when humans would deliver the final, decisive strike. And basic English, use simple and basic English and without hating. The galaxy had been watching humanity for weeks, expecting them to act recklessly. Instead, humans had acted quietly, with intelligence and patience. The Varun had made mistakes, their attacks had failed, and their influence over the Delta Corridor had weakened. Now it was time for the final step. Humanity would strike, but it would strike with precision, purpose, and restraint. Olivia Grant stood in the orbital command room, surrounded by analysts, intelligence officers, and fleet coordinators. Every screen showed the positions of Varun fleets, their stations, and their supply lines. Every detail had been mapped, every weak point recorded. Humanity was ready. President Laura Bennett addressed the room. "We have waited, we have observed, we have prepared. Now it is time to act. Our operation will be limited, precise, and decisive. We will not destroy life unnecessarily, but we will end the Varun's ability to threaten peace." Admiral Kevin Scott nodded. "Our fleets are in position. Experimental ships are ready. Intelligence units have disabled key communications. Every path is covered. The Varun will not escape our reach." Olivia took a deep breath. She thought of Ethan Clarke, his calm voice, his belief in humanity's potential. This was the moment he had envisioned. Humanity's actions would protect allies, enforce justice, and show the galaxy the true nature of humans. The operation began quietly. Human ships moved through hidden corridors, invisible to Varun sensors. Small groups of ships approached key Varun military shipyards. These yards were the heart of the Varun offensive capability. Disable them, and the Varun could no longer threaten the Delta Corridor or the smaller systems. Captain Ryan Cole led one fleet group. His ships moved like shadows, surrounding the shipyards without detection. Crews monitored every sensor and communications channel, waiting for the exact signal. They were not attacking recklessly. They were striking strategically, targeting engines, power systems, and weapons, while leaving lives mostly intact. Commander Megan Hill coordinated the cyber units. "All communications are jammed," she said over the line. "We control the channels. The Varun cannot call for reinforcements. They do not even know what is happening." Olivia watched the operation unfold on her screens. Each strike was precise. Each disabled system prevented further attacks without causing unnecessary destruction. The Varun forces scrambled to respond, but human strategy had anticipated every move. Ships were blocked, escape routes cut off, and command systems neutralized. The Varun did not expect such careful precision. They had believed humans would act with emotion, with anger. Instead, they faced efficiency and control. One by one, their shipyards fell silent. Supply routes were disrupted. Communications blocked. Their fleets disoriented and trapped. On Earth, the president observed the operation in real time. Her voice was calm but firm. "We are showing the galaxy that humanity protects its people and allies. We act decisively but not recklessly. Let every species see this." Humanity's fleets moved in unison. Experimental ships disabled weapons systems, engines, and defense grids with minimal casualties. Fleets that had once posed a threat were now powerless. The operation was surgical, efficient, and controlled. No major battles, no chaos, just precise strategic action. Olivia monitored the progress. "They are trying to regroup," she said, "but every path they take is blocked. Every communication they send is intercepted. They cannot escape." Captain Cole addressed his crews. "Remember your training. Every action is calculated. Strike only as directed. Protect civilians, protect allies, protect our honor." Crew members responded with quiet determination. They had trained for this moment for weeks. Now the training was paying off. Every ship moved with purpose. Every maneuver anticipated enemy responses. The galaxy watched silently, unaware of the true scale of human capability. The Varun leadership was panicking. They had underestimated humans, believing them to be reactive and emotional. Now their fleets were paralyzed, their shipyards disabled, and their influence over the Delta Corridor gone. The humans had acted decisively, but without unnecessary destruction. Olivia reported to the president. We have disabled their key shipyards. Fleets are contained. Communication networks disrupted. The Delta Corridor is secure. The President nodded. Good, now we show the alliance. Humanity will not tolerate attacks on its diplomats or allies, but we act with justice, not vengeance. This is the message. Human intelligence units compiled evidence of Varun aggression. Every attack, every sabotage, every provocation was documented. Broadcasts were sent to the Galactic Alliance, showing the Varun as the initiators. Humanity had acted only to protect peace, not to conquer. Small systems along the Delta Corridor sent messages of gratitude. Humanity had defended their safety, prevented attacks, and maintained trade routes. The humans had shown that strength and restraint could coexist. Olivia watched the final strike unfold. A Varun shipyard was disabled without loss of life. Crews watched as engines failed, weapons systems shut down, and communication arrays went dark. It was a decisive blow, yet measured and controlled. Captain Cole spoke to his fleet. We have completed the mission. The Varun can no longer threaten peace. Return to hidden positions and maintain readiness. We protect, we do not destroy without cause. Commander Hill continued to monitor cyber channels. All systems are under control, no further attacks possible. We maintain the advantage. The galaxy began to notice. Whispers spread among species. Humans had acted decisively, yet ethically. They had protected allies, enforced justice, and reshaped the balance of power without unnecessary destruction. Humanity was no longer just a participant, they were a guardian. Olivia reflected on Ethan Clarke's vision. His calm belief in humanity had guided every action. They had kept his words alive: protect, act with restraint, and show the galaxy their true strength. On the galactic stage, human restraint became a lesson. Other species realized that provoking humans was dangerous, but humans were not reckless. Intelligence, strategy, and precision had won the day. President Bennett addressed a small council meeting after the operation. Humanity has acted decisively, ethically, and with purpose. We protect, we do not provoke. Let this operation be an example to the galaxy. Humans are capable, intelligent, and just. Olivia watched fleet movements return to hidden positions. The Delta Corridor was secure. Smaller civilizations were safe. The Varun were weakened and disoriented. Humanity had achieved its goal without unnecessary bloodshed. Captain Cole debriefed his crews. Remember this lesson. Patience, intelligence, and precision make humans strong. The galaxy will not forget what we have done today. Commander Hill added, we have shown that humanity can act decisively, strategically, and with restraint. This is how we defend our allies, our people, and our honor. Olivia reported to the President, summarizing the operation. The Delta Corridor is secure. The Varun offensive capability disabled. Communication networks controlled. Small systems protected. The galaxy has seen humanity act decisively without chaos. President Bennett nodded. This is exactly the message we wanted to send. Humanity protects, humanity acts. Humanity does not bow to intimidation. The galaxy had been shocked. Humans were no longer newcomers. They were disciplined, capable, and ethically strong. Every species, from the smallest civilization to the largest empire, now understood. Humans were not to be underestimated. Olivia looked out at the stars from the command room. She thought of Ethan Clarke and his calm words. Humanity had honored him. They had kept the Delta Corridor safe, protected their allies, and struck with precision. The galaxy would remember this moment for generations. As fleets returned to hidden positions, the stars themselves seemed to hold their breath. Humanity had shown that power could coexist with restraint, that strategy could coexist with ethics, and that courage could coexist with wisdom. The Varun learned the full meaning of that lesson. Humanity could protect, could strike decisively, and could do so without unnecessary destruction. The galaxy had witnessed a new kind of power, human power tempered with intelligence and ethics. Olivia smiled faintly, thinking of Ethan. His vision had come true. Humanity was no longer new, no longer underestimated, and no longer reactive. They had earned the respect of the galaxy through restraint, strategy, and precise action. The Alliance understood it, the small civilizations understood it, and even the Varun had to understand it. Humanity had changed the balance of power, not through rage or chaos, but through intelligence, planning, and ethical strength. As the Delta Corridor remained safe and fleets maintained readiness, the stars themselves seemed to recognize a new force in the galaxy. Humanity had struck, and the galaxy would never be the same again. Olivia thought quietly, he would be proud. Ethan Clarke's calm belief had guided every move. Humanity had honored his legacy. The galaxy now knew humans protect, humans strike decisively when needed, and humans are a force that even the most powerful cannot ignore. And so, in the vast reaches of space, humans quietly waited, ready for the next challenge, their reputation forged in restraint, strategy, and courage. The galaxy had learned the truth. Humans were no longer to be underestimated, and their time among the stars had only just begun. The final operation was over, but humanity's story was only starting. Their place in the Alliance, their role as protectors, and their strength in the stars had been permanently established. Ethan Clarke's vision had been realized. The galaxy had witnessed the rise of a new power. Humanity, disciplined, capable, and unstoppable when the time was right. The stars shone silently, as if acknowledging the humans' triumph, their intelligence, and their careful, decisive strike that had shocked the universe and changed the balance of power forever. Humanity had struck back, and the galaxy would never forget it.